as much as I could stomach of the DNC. And it made me feel embarrassed for this country. I'll be completely honest with you. It made me really feel sick to my stomach. That bizarre, reanimated zombie Clinton stumbling around, and everything he said was a lie. And about how Hillary goes into a country and fixes everything when everywhere she goes, she destroys, whether it's Serbia or Bosnia-Herzegovina or Libya or Syria or Egypt. I mean, I could go on and on and on, the destabilization programs that dynamic duo of crime have carried out. And him talking about the love of my life. It was truly sick. And then watching C-SPAN so I could kind of get behind the scenes shots of the people there. I've got to say, you get invited to a party and you get there and it's got a weird feeling and the people are all kind of creepy and weird looking. And I don't just go off how they look, but I mean, you know, creepy acting, sneaky looking, evil looking. Watching the body language of the Democratic Party operatives, they just look like a group of criminals. They look like a bunch of mental patients mixed in with criminals and pedophiles and slime bags. With Republicans, you've kind of got swollen guys in pinstripe suits, cigars, and they've got their own seediness. And that's kind of the Republican establishment that's being swept out right now. So I've been to a lot of RNCs. This one with Trump had a grassroots feeling of electricity. And gone were the establishment Republicans almost entirely. It was extremely powerful. And I've talked to some of our crew who's going to be joining us later today, and they picked up on the very same thing. And just watching the sliminess of the Black Lives Matter race pimps, there to distract African Americans from how their unemployment's doubled, how they've been totally forgotten because the Democrats know they got them, how they're invoking total race, trying to turn the black population into like the Black Klan. It was absolutely painful, painful, painful. And then reviewing clips this morning that we're going to be going over, it was just incredible. And then the stories on Infowars.com, the stories on PrisonPlanet.com, the stories on DrudgeReport.com are unbelievable. Our crew got the footage from 3 different angles. Other media got it as well. In fact, one clip I'm going to play from other media because it's better quality. And it's Black Lives Matter saying, get to the back, white people. You're not allowed to be in the front of our demonstration. Literally inverting what happened to Rosa Parks, saying, get to the back of the bus, lady. I mean, the irony. Whites ordered the back of crowd at Black DNC March. And at colleges all over the country, they are the colleges are segregating, and the same thing's happening for Muslims, for Black Americans. This is the divide and conquer strategy. You see, when there was a vast majority of whites, until the abolitionists and Republicans and Christians broke the back of institutional racism to a great extent, it was still there, but broken, they would play this broken strategy, the Democrats would. But as soon as the Republicans defeated that in the late 50s and early 60s, they switched to, oh, we're the party of the minorities now. And as soon as minorities hit a majority, which they are in most areas, boom, now they're flipping back to race. And man, I tell you, you see ignorant, racist white people, it's embarrassing. It is just as disgusting to see a bunch of racist black people. I mean, it is really creepy and weird and bizarre. And what's even worse is you got mainstream media telling you it's good and it's up there on the stage being pushed as something wonderful. Now, this is the kickoff of the 28-hour Sleeping Giant broadcast. We haven't put the schedule out yet. There's a big surprises coming up today. You'll definitely want to share the link at Infowars.com/giant. Because there's 2 different feeds. I'm going to explain that when we come back. And the game has begun. The gate is open. The horses are out. The 28-hour marathon, once-a-year broadcast is live on the 27th day of July, 2016. I'm your host, Alex Jones. We're going to be live here for the next 28 hours, as I just said. We have some special reports we're obviously going to be airing. We've got some highlights, obviously, of the RNC and DNC. We'll have our reporters live on the ground throughout the next 28 hours. We have a lot of special surprise guests joining us. In the next hour or so, we will put a schedule up, though, at Infowars.com/giant. And I want to be clear for folks. Infowars.com/giant has the feed of the 28-hour broadcast. We will also have a refeed loop of the official 4 hours of the main show for folks that want to be able to go in and see any of those news-making interviews that break. And one reason I do that is there's actually TV stations and other systems out there that actually get the show off of that HD archive every day, not just the TV satellites, the radio satellites, and other systems. A lot of TV stations, a lot of cable systems, a lot of radio stations, strangely enough. I started doing TV to try to get on TV stations, but what happens is radio stations, a lot of our affiliates end up picking up the nightly news every night, and a lot of them are going to be picking up large sections, and of course you're welcome to. It's free to air of the 28-hour broadcast, much of it commercial-free. So you just play your commercials wherever you want, or when we play a video or something, just stations, have at it, enjoy yourselves. Again, we're all about freedom here. We just want to get the message out. So whether you want to play excerpts of the show or whether you want to carry the whole 28 hours or whatever you want to do, right now it's about fighting the globalists and exposing the coronation of Hillary, who officially got the nomination last night, despite the fact that she probably only got, from the numbers we've crunched, 35% of the vote. Sanders annihilated her, and in 10 states, won by more than 20 points, and it just didn't matter. It just didn't matter because she got the superdelegates. Unbelievable. We've got all sorts of stories about Trump supporters being shot, being stabbed, being attacked, especially black and Hispanic Trump supporters. There is cult-like bullying going on by just mobs of basically thugs, from MS-13 to black power groups. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy to see the president and the mainstream media trying to foment division in this country. We're going to be breaking it all down. Trump just finished, coming up a few minutes ago, a lengthy speech from Florida. We're going to be airing some excerpts of that today, obviously. We also have, with huge breaking news, Roger Stone joining us, coming up here in about 15, 20 minutes. David Knott will be popping in via Skype from the DNC. Matt Bracken on the massive increase in Islamic attacks. There's like 3 or 4 a day now. It was once a month, then once a week, then once a day. It's like 4 or 5 a day. And that's what we know of. I mean, I've just got stacks here. It's incredible. And British children found in cages of Islamics. I mean, it's just, it is hell on earth. And then William Binney, former technical director of the National Security Agency, one of the biggest whistleblowers in history, will be joining us. And then we've got everybody from Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins to Dinesh D'Souza to just so many others joining us. It's going to be a huge, huge 28-hour global transmission. So obviously, this is about activism. You may know all about the New World Order and more than I do. But the point is that the understanding of global government and stealth government was known by patriots 50 years ago, and they fought it and got made fun of and ridiculed and demonized and audited and arrested and murdered in many cases. But it doesn't matter. Today in national polls, 90 to 92% in every scientific poll believe elements of the government killed JFK. 90+% of Americans in Gallup polls want the Federal Reserve audited and or abolished, and they know it's private. 15 years ago, I was ridiculed in the New York Times saying that it was not private. You could not even get people to admit that there was a carbon tax plan 8-9 years ago. Al Gore would go before Congress and say it was a conspiracy theory when he owned the main carbon company, set to make trillions. They're not playing games. And the good news is we're not either. They're just lying to us, and stonewalling isn't working. So they've now gone into complete and total panic mode, and have now doubled down in lying to the most weaponized lying I've ever seen. Total inversion of reality. And again, who cooked up the scam when he was a senator with Ken Lay of Enron. Look it up for yourself. Enron environmentalism, the carbon credit scam, pumps millions of tons more greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, set to make trillions every decade. And you can actually go see ATR.org. Democratic platform calls for carbon tax globally. Donald Trump wants to stop that. So does Vladimir Putin. We'll be talking about that with Roger Stone coming up. But before we go any further, I just want you to know that Bill Clinton is now dodging subpoenas. Oh, yes, there are subpoenas out for Bill Clinton. And so I'm just going to stop right there. Roger Stone's coming up in about, again, 16, 17 minutes. Let me just calmly give you the headlines that we will cover in detail today. Let me just go through these for everybody. Charges dismissed against Baltimore police officers in Freddie Gray case. Will there be riots now that we learned that 3 of the police officers were black and that the judge dismissing the charges is black? No one's defending excesses of police. It happens. It's wrong. There are people on power trips that become police. It's wrong. It's a globalist diversion from the big issues to get us fighting with each other, period. Freddie Gray case, charges against 3 remaining officers dropped. Shooting deaths of police up 78% this year, troubling to Memorial Fund. Funny, though, that when they had Black Lives Matter victims' families up there, people who died in questionable shootings, they didn't have all the widows of dead cops up there and everybody come together and hug and say, let's work on bringing communities together. They didn't mention the 2,000-plus people shot in the first 7 months of this year in Chicago, almost all of them black on black, 500-plus dead black, because the cops are pulling out. They're not going to those areas. And quite frankly, I don't blame them. I was out there at a Black Lives Matter deal, and there were communist people open carrying out there, which is fine. We had ours to open carry. And it was a really creepy feeling to know I was a target when I went in there and charged in there and said it's wrong to randomly kill cops. I got to really get what it feels like to have people surrounding me, not knowing when a bullet's going to hit me. Can you imagine being a cop just writing tickets or going to a house disturbance or whatever, or you get called to the scene of stuff at a robbery at a liquor store? There's 20 people calling for you to die right there. I wouldn't take that job in a million years. A million years. And the point is, we have the numbers. There's more cops getting killed than there are people in questionable shootings. And the issue here is the globalists want the police to be our oppressors. We need to try to be friends with them, take our communities back, and come together and not be idiots. But I'm sorry, I said I'd just cover headlines. It's hard to do. I'm going to do this later. Let me just get into them. Because this all paints a picture, these articles that go together, okay? 990 people shot by police in 2015 total. 258 were African Americans, and it turns out more than a third were shot by other black officers. I mean, you start doing the numbers, man. You're maybe 50, 60, 70 questionable shootings. Good. Put those cops in prison. But is it the biggest issue in the galaxy? No, no, no. Again, a total diversion from our government trying to start World War III with the Russians and putting jihadists in control of Syria who killed over 250,000 Christians alone and a couple 100,000 other Muslims. They let in 0.3%. That's the latest numbers from the feds, Christians. Syria's 20%. They won't let them out. They're not letting Shiites out either. They only let Sunnis out. Because they're those that failed to take over. This was an invasion plan. 250,000 dead Christians. And baby, you don't hear anything out of the DNC on that. And it's like a pageant. You know, the poor Black Lives Matter folks think they're getting attention like, I'm on the stage. At least Oprah Winfrey gave folks a car to create the illusion she cared about her audience. But they're on the stage like, we're getting attention. You care about us. No, you're being put out there with a false argument to be scapegoated later. I'm sorry. I got to stop. This video is coming up. It's on Infowars.com. Whites ordered to back of the crowd at Black DNC March. White people to the back, black people to the front. This was said repeatedly. And who's pushing it? Paul Joseph Watson has another article. Hillary strategists blame stupid white people for popularity of Trump. Stupid white people are the worst. This is a white guy. Mitch Stewart. Again, race pimping. This is like a Klan leader. He's using race to control. Unbelievable racist. And it's always been that way. Look, the Republicans the party of Lincoln,